Okay, so my head is swimming a bit because I just listened to this hour-long talk on sleep. So hopefully I can reiterate and get all the information out there. It was a really fascinating call with a scientist, a sleep scientist named Jennifer Martin. She is out of several colleges. I believe UCLA is her primary. But I also saw maybe San Diego State, and there was another college. But anyway, she had a session with Precision Nutrition, which is the nutrition plan that I'm working on right now, that certification that I'm working on. And all those like precision nutrition, body, they all base their things on real studies and studies that are well, what's the word I'm looking for? Like accredited. That
Yep.
they're not just looking for a certain thing to come out of the study. So I really like using, I have a couple body articles that we'll talk about tonight. And then I have the article from Precision Nutrition too that Jennifer Martin made so that she goes into quite a bit more detail on things. And so all of those resources, I'll stick the links in here and I'll stick it in with the recording. That way everybody has them. But first off, who could use a little better sleep? Who sleeps enough?
I do. I like the dead, literally.
You're a good sleeper, Joy?
I am a good sound. I don't get up at night, and I get about 8 to 9 hours a night.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
get
she says
it
seven
up
to
at six.
nine. Yeah, 7 to 9. You got
Yeah.
to figure out what works for you. Everybody is different. So it's not like I can be like, okay, 8 on the dot, and then you should feel fine. You might be a
No.
9, right? You might be whatever. You might be 10. I don't know. But you have to figure out exactly kind of what works for you. Um, so in the course of this, like why we're talking about sleep or why I decided to talk about sleep tonight is there's sleep. It feels like in our environment, in our culture, we like it's how late can I stay up? How early can I get up? Not sleeping is almost a badge of honor. And sleep is the time that our body takes care of itself, hits the reset button, repairs things, comes back to a level that we can function on. And we absolutely need it in order to function well. And so sometimes when people are talking, like if they're trying to lose weight or they're trying to get, stronger, they're trying to gain muscle, if you're not sleeping well, then your workouts and nutrition are affected. So sleep can be a major contributor to not seeing results. And we talked about that a couple weeks ago about all the different things that you can check on if you're not seeing results. But sleep is a very big one. And it's just one of those things that I think gets kind of, yeah, I should sleep more. Yeah, I should probably get more sleep, or I should have gone to bed earlier last night. And instead of it being something we toss aside, we absolutely should put it in the forefront. And that will help us to feel our best too. So, with that, I'm going to share the first article. Let me go here. Okay, this is her article, Why Sleep is Important. Okay, so this is on the Body blog. And really just about anything, like if you have questions about different things, there's so many great articles on the Body blog. And so I'd highly recommend just searching that for different things. This is also where I find recipes for the meal prep class so that everyone has access to it. And so tons of great recipes on the blog that you may not see if you're searching Body. Sometimes they cross over, but not all the time. Okay, so one of the big reasons, like I just talked about, weight loss and or maintenance. So there are studies talking about even if you're having the same amount of calories, even if you're doing the same amount of exercise, if you're not getting enough sleep, you can still gain weight gradually. So this is something I'm going to let people kind of dive into more detail if you're like interested in those things, because there's so many places we could go with all of these. But I kind of want to direct you to the places where things are at. They are linking to different studies. And what it really comes down to is your hormones are at a different level when you're not getting sleep. So there's what I thought was fascinating too in this talk I just listened to, which I had never heard before. I've always heard, if you don't have enough sleep, cortisol can be an issue, right? Because your body's stressed, it's not getting that chance to reset and get to a regular level. Same with other hormones. Everything needs to be, it's like it regulates itself at night. And if it doesn't get the full time to get it done, then things are a little off, is I guess how I would best explain it. What I didn't realize is that ghrelin and leptin, which are your hunger hormones, they have their own circadian rhythm. So what Dr. Jenny Martin had talked about is the fact that if you go to a different time zone, you may not be your hunger is probably still around the same time. So if like you go to a time zone that's 8 hours away and you're trying to eat in the middle of the night, you may not be as hungry because those hunger hormones are on their own circadian rhythm. So I thought that was kind of interesting that that if you're not sleeping and on your circadian rhythm, then your hunger is also going to be off. So if like people are hungry at night in the middle of the night, that could have something to do with it. It also can be a habit that people have formed. So more detail on that. There's links in here to go into more detail. If you would like to have that. Does anybody have any questions about it, or throw out any questions you want at any point? Do I have the quiet crowd tonight? All right. So along with that, gut health too. I'm actually struggling with this with my oldest child. When he does not get enough sleep over the week, and toward the end of the week, he tends to have an upset stomach in the morning. So it's like he has days of not getting enough sleep. And then by the time we get to the end of the week, he's having an upset stomach. And there's also science to that your gut is disrupted. You can have more bloating and gas and have more challenges with your gut if you are not getting enough sleep. In the article, or when I listened to this call earlier too, she talked about the whole idea of like some people waking up hungry in the middle of the night, and that sometimes that's a habit, but it's also, you need to look at how are you eating during the day. And we've talked a lot about that on this call. Like, are you getting to the end of your evening or in the middle of the night and hungry, like waking up hungry, or you're really hungry before bed? And through that, you need to see, okay, well, what did I eat during the day? Did I actually eat enough during the day to sustain me through my active part of the day? And now all of a sudden I'm getting to the night and I'm like, give it all to me, right? Which then a lot of times maybe aren't the best options that we're picking too. So those are definitely things to look at, how you're doing during the day. And then have you already kind of created this habit of having either nighttime food or in the middle of the night food? So if you're not getting enough sleep, your workout performance is not as good either. It is definitely like, I bet anytime I haven't got enough sleep, I'm like, I don't want to do this workout. And then it goes, and then you're kind of like working your way through the workout, but it's probably not the best workout because you're already worn out. And so anytime you can get your sleep regulated, then the things during your day are going to go better, workout included. And with emotional health and memory. So this one, when my babies were little, I would like hallucinate and like have crazy things happening because I wasn't getting enough sleep. Did anybody else have that? Like when you don't get enough sleep, you like wake
Yeah.
you like wake up at weird times.
Yes. Yeah.
So for your mental health, it is good to have enough sleep. For your memory, it's good to have enough sleep. It was funny because in the other video, this doctor talked about how people who didn't have good sleep, they did a driving test during the day, right? Like, so they did a driving test. And they thought they did pretty well. And then they turn around and the cones are just everywhere. Like they didn't realize how many cones they had hit. So sleep can be really detrimental, lack of sleep can be really detrimental, dangerous to us during the day when we are, using things that are dangerous, driving cars, equipment, all kinds of stuff. So it's more than just us affected if we are not getting enough sleep. I'm not going to go
That's
into
true.
this. This is kind of a quick get down of how to get better sleep. We're going to go to a better list over here. This is also on the body website, 10 tips for getting better sleep. So I will say this, the doctor of sleep, Jenny Martin, she is really a big fan of like not having tools to sleep, I guess is how I'd say it. She's not crazy about trackers. She's not crazy about tools for sleeping. She wants you to use you as data, right? So like let's say you're on vacation. How much would you sleep and feel rested? When would you naturally wake up and feel good? And using that kind of idea of what your circadian rhythm is like and how many hours of sleep you need and working toward that then in your regular life. Does that make sense? So she's like, because let's say I need 8 hours. And if at home during the work week, I'm getting up at 6 o'clock, but like when I'm on vacation, I naturally wake up at 7 o'clock and I feel really great. So that might be an indicator to me that either I need to go to sleep a little earlier so that 6 o'clock feels good, right? So that I've had enough sleep. Or if there's even a possibility of changing your schedule, to make that 7 o'clock and then you still have the same bedtime. So it's using yourself as data and trying to figure out how you naturally feel the best and working your way to that and being really consistent. I have noticed since I consistently go to bed around the same time on the weekends, I'm much more even in how I feel with sleep. Does anybody else, do you change on the weekends? Do you have a different sleep schedule or same?
Mhm. Yes, I do.
And so do you feel like you're trying to catch up on Monday, or how does it feel when you get up Monday after having a different sleep time?
Well, I don't really sleep good any nights, but it's even worse on the weekends usually because of the divorce. I'm home with my husband and it makes me sleep even less because I'm more stressed out. So
Right.
yeah, I probably try to catch up more on Mondays.
Yeah. And so one of the things she talks about is if you can get consistent 6 out of the 7 nights. Um,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And that helps if you're having trouble sleeping.
Yeah, I probably get like 4 to 5 hours on average every night, and I used to get 7 to 9.
Yeah.
So, I actually fell asleep in the car line the other day, and the lady woke me up by knocking on the window, and
Oh,
there was
goodness.
like no one in front of me. Yeah, and I felt
Yeah.
really, really, really bad. But I've just been exhausted. I'm exhausted, but then I can't sleep. It's really weird.
It is. And you just have a really high cortisol thing happening because that's exactly what
Oh
happens
yeah,
when you have your cortisol levels out of whack. Um,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like you feel when it's time to go to bed, you feel wide awake, but when it's not time for bed, that's the time you
yeah,
feel sleepy, but you still can't rest very well. Yeah.
right. And I do have prescription sleeping pills, but I don't like to take them
Yeah. Yeah.
because they
None of
make me feel.
Yeah, none of the
Weird.
articles or this doctor really talked much about that. I think that kind of stuff is also interesting. I I am not qualified to dive into those things to know,
Yeah.
what's good, bad, or indifferent, but
Right.
yeah, it is definitely something to look into.
Yeah. They just make me feel really groggy in the morning. I don't know how they affect anyone else, but I just don't like how they make me feel in the morning. They certainly help me sleep, but like I just don't feel like myself the next day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But sorry to get you off topic.
No, no, you're good. All right,
Mhm.
we'll start with the 10 science back tips for falling asleep faster. Let's go scroll down here. So turning off your devices 2 hours before bed. Does anybody do that? 2 hours before? I'm a
Nope.
half hour right now. I'm a half hour. And
Seconds before?
my watch tells me it's 30 minutes before your scheduled bedtime, so shut it down, lady. And some nights I listen and some nights I get back on the phone, but my phone will not notify me of anything. In fact, it takes all the red dots away, so I can't even see if something new comes up. It's kind of
Oh,
fascinating. It's called sleep
yeah, the
focus.
sleep. Yes, sleep
Yeah.
focus on. Yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of
No,
like it because it's kind of it kind of then also signals to me what time it is. So
mhm.
I'm kind of like, oh, okay, this is where I start, the routine.
I don't shut my phone off, but I do put it on that sleep focus so it doesn't. My phone's not binging all night long while it's in charging, and you
Yeah.
hear it, and you're like, "What's that?"
Yes. And well, when my oldest started delivering pizzas, he was working until 1 in the morning. And I'm like, I can't stay up this late. I've got to figure out how he can get through to me and I cannot have my phone dinging. So in the sleep focus, I do have it so that both my kids can get through to me if they
Oh,
need,
there you go.
but nobody else can. And so you can set it in there, specific people, and I think even how it notifies you. I don't know. There's a couple different things in there. So yeah, so if you can use it to go start at a certain time. So every night at 9:30, no, 9 o'clock, it tells me it's time to start getting ready for bed because 9:30 is my bedtime. I'm usually in bed by 10 because at 9:30 I'm still adjusting. But does anybody else use anything like that kind of tells them when to shut down?
I have that on my phone too. The thing about it is I usually am in bed before my phone goes to sleep. Um, my head hits the pillow and I'm out.
Yeah, that's how I
I am I am a very good sleeper. I will sleep through anything, any medication that I ever take, anything will make me sleepy. So sleeping is not an issue for me. I just have not been getting enough of it recently because I've been starting work at 3 a.m. Um, so I get up really early to get ready and get out the door.
yeah.
But I'm always nighttime, I've never been a night owl. I've always been ready for bed a lot earlier than anybody else. And I've always worked early shifts because I've worked in a hospital.
Uh-huh. And so do you feel like are you getting to bed early enough, do you think?
No, absolutely not. And my schedule is changing because we're kind of over the pandemic and we're over like the crazy hours and the working kind of whenever to get things done. And so as of Monday, I'm going back to a more normal time. So I won't start work at 3 a.m. anymore. I'll start work at 7.
Oh,
So that will be good because normally I go to bed at about 7:30 at night and my husband's then up and he's like I miss having that time with you because
yeah,
either I'll be up with him but I'll be falling asleep
right.
because I'll be exhausted. So now that I'm gonna have a different schedule, I'll be able to. That's the first thing he thought of. Other than like we had to rearrange some stuff because I would get off so early, I'd be able to do a lot more stuff. We had to
Right.
get that all rearranged. which was a lot easier than I thought. But then he's like, you're going to be able to stay up later. And I was like, will I really though? Because I like to go to bed early, probably not 7:30, but I think 9 is probably going to be the latest
Yeah.
that I'll ever stay up. My body just does not do after 9.
Yeah. My husband is the same way. He has never been a late night person. Like,
I've
just,
always been early
yeah.
shifts. Yeah. So I did one graveyard shift in the hospital and it was absolutely horrible. I don't know how people do it. I'm just like, I don't know how you guys do it. You're
Yeah.
having dinner at like 2 a.m. This is not right. And so I was supposed to work 2 and they're like, we'll find somebody else for the other shift. I was like, I'm sorry, I just don't get this.
Yeah. Well, and it's
So,
funny because
yeah.
the sleep doctor talked about it. She's like, humans are not supposed to be up then. We are daytime, awake people. And so it can be really challenging for people to work on a graveyard shift or a split shift and then changing. She made it sound like the best thing they could do is be really consistent. So even on the days that they're off, you still kind of keep the same type of awake schedule. So you're not trying to shift it too much. But yeah, I couldn't do it either. All right. So then we've got turn off the devices. So, okay, we're all going to work toward that, making sure we're not on the devices and relaxing with meditation and deep breathing. So as you know, Body has really great meditations on there. I know I've used a couple of them for sleep and I was knocked out and then I realized I have to turn my phone off to be done. So I don't know, I'd have to figure that piece out, but they are helpful in getting back to sleep too. It's part of the 21, no, what is it called? Unstress. There's like a set of 21 meditations for unstress. And I think there was another one for insomnia on the side. Does anybody remember?
There's actually several now. There's
Okay.
now like sound meditations and
Right.
there's multiple in that too. If you just put like sleep meditation into your phone, you'll see multiple. And what I find is like my phone, it like once it's over, I use it's called Sleep Cycle. So it's an app on my phone that I just set my phone on its face down next to my bed, and in turn it also picks up Scott snoring and other things in the room. But um it I don't know if it's because of that being on or what, but like when the video is over, it's over. Like nothing
Oh,
happens.
okay. It just stops.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so maybe mine would do that too. We're just stop and like kind of go into sleep mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then so within this, there are also some links, for mindful breathing, 7 breathing exercises. So if that's something you'd want to add in. So play some white noise. I know a lot of people with the babies do this now. We did not do it with our kids. I don't know, maybe we should have, but we did not. I don't know how much if it was a big thing then or not. And I find that helpful, like when I'm in a hotel or a different place, if there's some white noise to kind of help shutter out new noises. Like if you have like the air conditioner running all the time in the hotel room, then it's like I don't hear the doors shutting or the elevator or the people walking or things like that. So I do find that kind of white noise helpful then. So some aromatherapy, taking a shower or bath before bed. I've seen that on several lists. And definitely if it's part of your routine, that can be, see you later, Lily. That can be really helpful if, establishing that nighttime routine, kind of like how my watch tells me it's 9, we're going into sleep mode. That's part of my habit, right? So then I know then I try not to touch my phone again until I go upstairs to go to bed. And whatever you're doing, if you're doing your skincare routine or whatever you have in your nighttime part, those like are signaling to your body, okay, we're on our process of shutting down. So it's definitely something, you know, if you want to add something like this into your nighttime routine, like the controlled stretches from 9-week Control Freak are awesome. Great way to wind down your evening. You know, always kind of getting your PJs on at a certain time, going through your skincare, your, you know, teeth routine, all that kind of stuff. Good things to establish. So reading a book, and this is talking about a real book, not, you know, the Kindle, being on something with artificial light. Writing things down before bed, to let things go. I used to make a list a lot of times before bed so that I would stop thinking about what I had to do, because it would just help me just kind of release it instead of trying to remember it. Avoid caffeine before bedtime. So usually like 5-6 hours before you're going to go to bed. And even then, depending on how sensitive you are to caffeine, I know some people stop at like 1 in the afternoon. That's kind of a, you know, you have to figure out what works in your schedule, what time you're going to bed, but you definitely don't want to have that caffeine too late because it does stay in your body for quite a few hours.
I just read something about it having a 6-hour half-life.
Yes, it
Caffeine.
does. Yep, I was actually just going to say that. Yep, half of it. I think my understanding was you're saying half of it's still there at 6 hours later.
Yeah, it said that that it's a 6-hour half-life. So
Okay.
yeah, that's what they refer to it as, that it's, yeah. So it's still there. Yeah, I guess 6 hours later.
Yeah, so
Or
you still have half.
stays there for up to 6 hours or something to that. I don't know
Yeah.
how half-life works.
I was, for some reason, I was thinking what I had read was like it's caffeine's in your system for 6 hours, but it was 3 hours and it was still 50% there. But I don't remember it exactly, so I can't, you know, speak to that for sure.
Yeah,
But we
I
know
think
it lingers.
it does.
Okay, making sure your bedroom is dark. I noticed this, like, we have a neighbor who sometimes has their outdoor light on that shines right into her bedroom, and sometimes they don't. And I definitely notice when they do. So if that, you know, and one of the things the sleep doctor had talked, or one of the things she had talked about also was that in our world, we have a lot of artificial light, which throws off our natural circadian rhythm. And we are also forcing sleep times, right? We're forcing when we go, when we get up. And so it's, you know, it's hard to get that piece of things figured out too, as far as like what time you have to get up for your job and what activities you have in the evening that you can then get to sleep on time. So all of this has to work, you know, you have to work within what you have and try to make the best of what you can do and continue to improve. Just kind of like our, you know, exercise routine and our nutrition routine, all of those things. And then the last thing is sleeping at the same time every day. So that is something I have started doing on the weekends now. For the most part, I'm usually within a half hour. If I stay up later, it's only till 10:30. And for me, it's made a big difference. Because I absolutely feel if I stay up late, much later, like another hour or 2 hours the next day. And then it's like my next day is not nearly as productive.
Oh,
Yeah. So I
can't even.
I can. What'd you say, Joy?
I said sometimes I can't even function if it's just a little time
Yeah.
over. It
Yeah.
throws off my whole schedule, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it is funny, isn't it? Like, and I don't know why I did this to myself when my kids were little, but I would always stay up later because I was just so excited to have the peace and quiet that like, and then I'm like, but I just ruined my next day. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Ugh. And then this also goes into
Definitely
talking about sorry, Joey, what'd you say?
I find it harder. I find it more difficult. I find it easier to go to bed being older at like a certain time every night. But it's definitely, I find it harder to wake up if how do I want to say it? Like if I go to bed just a little over, waking up the next morning is a struggle. And the
Right.
older I get, the
Yeah.
harder it seems getting.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. It's like if you miss the mark by just a little bit,
Yeah,
then it's like it's amplified the next morning. Like it's not just
yeah,
a little bit worse. It feels like it's a lot worse.
yeah.
So and then they also talk about last thing. This is actually I have not had trouble with sleeping. However, I have been taking last thing since July and I love it. I love the way I feel sleeping. I love how sound I sleep. I love how it just like I feel like I melt into my bed. So if it's something you know, it that you feel like you can improve on, this is definitely an option. There are different products in here that help with taking out the stress from the day. Ashwagandha is the main component for that, for helping with cortisol levels. And then there is a small amount of melatonin. It is a small enough amount that it is not, you're not being, you know, like your body's not changing from it, where it's going to make less melatonin. It's an amount that helps your body continue to make its own. And there's you know, just some other supplements in there that to check out. And if we want to talk about that, we can. And then I think what I'll do is just pass on this last article to you guys. This is really detailed about things to do. I thought this chart was really good and we could talk about it really quick, but she has 6 steps to better sleep. And so she really kind of goes into detail about how you do it, what kind of things you're looking for, and getting a plan together for yourself. And also just monitoring, how do you monitor yourself? How do you track yourself to see if you're hitting your plan? But I thought this was interesting. So she has this chart of evening activities that support healthy sleep. And so lying down and watching TV in a dark room might help you fall asleep too early, but it's okay if you're watching your favorite old TV show with the lights on. If you're doing things that prepare you for tomorrow, good. If you're watching the news, not so good. Might keep you awake too long, might add some stress. Playing video games, might keep you awake too long. Drinking alcohol might help have you fall asleep too early, and then your sleep isn't quite as good. We've had a lot of talks on alcohol. So just a quick kind of gauge what your activities are in those last 3 hours of the evening, and especially that last hour before bed, you know, what you're doing and if it's helping or potentially hurting your sleep. All right. Okay, good. Now I get to see you all again. So does anybody have any questions or any like information we didn't cover that you're curious about or anything with the sleep? All right. So then the next thing I was going to throw in here too is our product of the month is Beachbars. And I wanted to talk just quickly about Beachbars and some different things you may or may not know about them. And we have 3 flavors right now. 2 are vegan. It's the almond crunch and the mint chocolate chip. And then the whey one is the peanut butter chocolate. They are all certified, like the vegan ones are certified. Well, actually, I think they're all certified gluten-free, soy-free. The vegan are for sure certified gluten-free, soy-free. And so the other piece that's a really big deal generally when people are looking at them is their glycemic index. They are third-party tested and they tested at a level of 40. So that's in the low glycemic index. So that means you're not going to get a blood sugar hit from them. It means that there's a good macro balance to it so that you have the fiber, you have protein, along with the sugars that are included in there so that you are not having a spike with a beach bar. I will show you one graphic too, because this is, I think, pretty cool. It compares it to other beach bars, or I'm sorry, other competitors. Let me go over here. And this is how it is like portion to portion, because some bars are like 220 calories or 200 calories. So this is as if it was 150 calories serving. And this is how it compares to other bars. So there's the Kind bar on there, the RX bar, Cliff bar, and Lara bar. And you'll see that the protein to sugar to fiber ratio is much better in the Beach Bar. And if you're counting it on the portion fix plan, you're going to be a half a red, a half a yellow, and a teaspoon. And that's on the bar box. So if you ever forget, you can just see it on the bar box. Let me look at my notes really quick here and make sure I feel like I have one more thing that we're going to talk about on there.
They are all soy and gluten free.
Oh, okay. So
Sure.
all three are tested. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. I figured as much, but I wasn't sure because I know we started doing that now on Shakeology, but it was only on the vegan to start.
Right.
And the taste. My kids and I cannot get enough of the mint chocolate chip. They are literally like Girl Scout Thin Mints. And we eat like, I don't know. I can't even tell you how many boxes we've already gone through since they came out. I had to order some more because my oldest takes them for lunch, and then he always takes his friend one too. So I'm like supplying the school at this point.
My favorite are the mint chocolate chip and the chocolate peanut butter. I absolutely love them both.
Yeah.
Love them. Yeah.
And there's always one in my purse. It's great to just have on hand. Like it's so much, I find I can have that and I'm full for a while, right? If I'm out and I'm not able to, there's not a fast food that is a decent option, or I don't even want to stop or whatever, right? I can just have the Beach Bar and be good to go for a couple hours. So those are
I always have one in my car.
Yeah, exactly. That's the product of the month this month. And so we've been featuring one each month. That way we can kind of learn a little bit more about it and try things out. So now I'll turn it over to you guys. What kind of stuff do you want to talk about nutrition wise? Any questions?
Can we find all the information on the beach bars on, like, if I go on the app?
Yes,
So
and
if
I'll also, I can send you that Google Drive I have. It's so there's a coach on one of the teams that is putting to like each product of the month, and she's
Yeah.
putting the information in there, and they're all from the body site, but they might be scattered. So she gets them all together and puts them in this file. So I'll send you the Google file too. And then
What
you
do they
have-
do? Make an announcement for each month for what it is? Because I don't remember hearing that.
So that's also in the coach group where,
Okay.
yeah, so they made that announcement, and I'll share that with you too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I belong to so many groups that I
I
probably
know
just.
it gets a little nuts. I know. And well, in fact, I'll just tag you in the Stronger Together one that you're already in.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I know it's in there too.
Okay.
And in fact, I will add that Google Drive to make sure people have it because it's a good one.
Just nice to have on hand if I'm talking to somebody like
Yeah.
who maybe did. I want to sound like I know what I'm talking about, not oh.
Exactly. Well, good. How is everybody doing with their nutrition?
Better.
Good. That's all we can ask.
Trying. I haven't eaten a box of Girl Scout cookies yet.
Perfect. And they're still, are you getting rid of them, or are they,
They are here. I'm getting rid of them, but we're still selling them to the 19th. So I still get people that
Okay.
order, pick them up. They're still in and out of my house.
You still got a week and a half.
My daughter has sold 916 boxes.
Whoa.
I've gotten enough for we got what she can get to go to Girl Scout camp, and then she is only 84 boxes short of winning an iPad. So that's what we have.
Wow.
One more table we got to do, and then we're pretty much done.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool to get an iPad.
Yeah, it's a lot of cookies.
Yeah, and it's a lot of time on your part too.
Yeah. We did a table at my work just at lunchtime from 11 to 1 and sold 151 boxes in 2
I believe
hours.
it. Yeah.
So we're going back on the 17th.
Yeah, exactly. Well, good. All right. If nobody has any questions or things they want to chat about, then we can wrap it up early. We're gonna have were you gonna say something, Joy?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
The next meal prep class is gonna be April 2nd. Same time, 11 o'clock my time, 2 o'clock Eastern. And Funky Friday tomorrow is Be Awesome or Awesomeness, or I can't remember, something to do with being awesome. So show your awesomeness. What is it?
April 7th?
April 2nd.
Oh, 2nd. Okay.
2nd, yep. Hopefully that's
You said 7th.
Yeah.
Like said 7th kid. Yeah, that's good. That
Yeah.
was clear.
I was like, that's Easter Sunday.
Right? You're like, that's not right. Yeah, no,
Nope.
April 2nd. Yeah. 4/2.
The 7th is on a Friday, and that following Sunday is Easter. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I'm
Yeah,
off.
yeah. I try to not do it on major holidays because then it just gets weird because it's just going to be me. So, yeah. So tomorrow, take your sweaty selfie. Maybe wear something that makes you feel awesome. I don't know. It's all about feeling awesome. So throw some kind of graphic on your picture.
What is it? Funky Friday? What?
Oh, well, just Funky Friday. Yeah. So the theme is, I think it's like National Awesome Day or something like that is why we picked it.
What is it? It's international. Let me look at it. I can tell
Like,
you.
be awesome.
It is. It is International Day of Awesomeness.
There we go.
So yes, just do whatever. Show up and rock your workout, snap a picture, and show us all of your awesomeness.
All of your awesomeness. Yep. That'll be perfect.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. And then let's see. Let me look at the date, but I think it's March 23rd. We will not have a call. I will be in Mexico with the other body coaches.
Oh, I feel so bad for you.
I know, it's going to be really awful. It's going to be just horrible. Yeah, so March the 23rd, we will not have a nutrition call.
Okay.
We'll be holding down the fort of the Zoom link
Of
for
the
that
Zoom.
week.
Yeah, we'll probably be on Zoom for
but when? Like
some of them.
what time window? I don't even know what time window. But no, you guys are going to be working out at Lily will probably hop on. So you'll be getting your work.
I don't remember if Mexico changes time for daylight savings, because daylight savings is this weekend too, so that's also going to mess with your sleep, FYI. So try to bring that into play. I don't know if they
I completely forgot that.
Yeah, it's daylight savings on
right there on my calendar.
Yeah. And I don't know if I don't know if we'll be 2 hours or 3 hours, because right now they're 3 hours, but I don't know if they participate. So yeah. But jump on Zoom. I'm sure we'll put it in the chat when we're getting on there. Then you can all work out live with Amwala, maybe. That would be pretty awesome.
Well, that would be cool if you could do that, but I don't know how you do that. Then that would mean one person would be standing there with the phone going like this.
Right.
time.
We can bring one of the husbands into it.
I'll go to Mexico and hold the phone for you. No problem.
That'll be funny. All right, ladies, and then next week we're going to talk about stress. So bring your questions or drop questions to me, and we'll talk about stress and its effects and how we can mitigate it. All right, well, have a good night. Good to see everybody.
You
And bring your awesomeness tomorrow.
Oh,
Thank you.
picture.
Oh yeah, sorry.
We forgot to get one
Christina
with
and
Lily.
Kelly, do you want to get on for a picture? Here, I'll stop this.